guys take a break with me, welcome to my channel, Voiceless Chatter. I'll be sharing my life quietly and unscripted. I thought a lot about what I should be sharing here as my first video, and I'm just overwhelmed by nervousness of how I'll be perceived and what type of content I should be putting up and what makes up the first video, and it keeps getting to my head instead of just getting started. So I'm just gonna get started. I feel like social media nowadays is centered around showing something, whether it's a dance video, cooking, baking, art, sports, and many more. You name it, there's probably already a video out there about it. And sometimes it feels like we can all take a break from it. So instead of showing something, I would love to convey something. And that's really why I started this channel. So let's get started. Work has been on my mind a lot lately. I'm not happy with my work, and I know I haven't been happy. And I'm just not sure how many years or how many more years I can go with my 9-to-5 corporate job. I'm an immigrant to California, and I've always been the type working really hard in school. And I just remember in middle school, I would be the one getting perfect attendance because I just would not even think about missing a single day in school. When I went on to high school, I was near a 4.0 GPA. I was president of an organization. I did sports after school. I was in all sorts of after school activities. I thought all the good grades and accolades would get me into a good college, and I did. I got into one of the best universities on the West Coast, and that wasn't enough for me. When I first got my college admissions results, my first reaction was disappointment because I didn't get into the best. And for the next 2 years, I studied really hard, just feeling like I had to. And I don't know if you guys feel this way, but there are things you do where you just feel like you have to, but no one is telling you to aside from yourself. And that was me. I just studied and studied some more, and I pushed myself really hard to get good grades. And then the opportunity came for the second half of college to transfer into a more reputable college than the one I was attending. And I took the opportunity and I went there. Did my life change a whole lot? Not really. I feel like I put the same amount of pressure on myself to study hard. I also have extreme test anxiety, but I just decided to power through that. Every midterm, every final, I would get just so much anxiety. It's a little crazy. Like, I would be the type to bring my notes as I'm walking to my midterm or final. I would be looking through them till the very last minute until the professor says you need to put your notes away. And, when I hear stories about how friends friends or other students would just take a break before the actual exam or go watch a movie or just like try to relax. I would always be so envious of that. Like, how do you guys do that? I literally cannot relax. I had to, be super uptight until the very last moment, and then I had to just feel like acing the test to feel okay. And I think a lot of what went on in college was thinking, if I just get through this, if I just get good grades, then I'll have a splendid career. My career will take off. I will be free from all these testing anxiety, and I'll be in the real world. I'll have all the independence. I will no longer have to attend a single class, and future education is going to be at my own will. It's not going to be because I go to college, because that's just almost like a prerequisite to get a job these days. But if I ever pursue more education, it's because I want to. And I had so much desire looking for that type of freedom that I had such high expectations on what's going to become of my first step in my career. And to this day, I regret that first step. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous when I think back on it, but when I pursued business economics in college, an accounting minor, I did not like it. I just thought I was pretty good at it, and so I should just keep doing it because I was pretty good at it. And I'm sure everyone goes through college and think at some point to switch majors. And I had the same thought too, but I just thought I couldn't do it because then I have to retake all these courses. I might have to even stay one more year in college to graduate. And I just thought, you know what, I'm getting good grades in these courses. That means I'm pretty good at it, and I'll just keep going. And that's how I graduated with those major and minor. And I took an internship at one of the big 4 accounting firms during college and absolutely hated it. And when I say absolutely hated it, I meant like there's just no way I would go back for full time. Like, I could not see myself doing that stuff like every day of my life. And guess what? I went back for full time because I wasn't able to get another offer for my first full-time job. So I had to take what I had, and I was absolutely miserable. And while I'm at my first public accounting job, I was like, you know what? I have to make my time here worthwhile. If I hate the job this much, at least I need to make something out of it. And therefore, I pursued getting my CPA license. I never actually got the license, but I did pass all 4 sections of the CPA exam. I don't know the rules now, but at the time it was 4 hours per exam. And when you're actually going through like 4 really thick exam books, not exam books, but like study books, and all these like mock exams and mock questions, that's a lot of your life that you're dedicating towards getting that license. And if you don't pass the minimum score of 75, if you get through 2, you pass 2, and you still have 2 remaining, you're kind of halfway there. So you're like, okay, you know what? You just power through it and like get it done. And so that was me. I definitely had a lot of breaks in between taking the exams because of the rigorous work life at the auditing firm. But I told myself I had to get it done. And so I did. But at the time of my career, I had a very big family event happen that is definitely a story for another time. But I had to juggle between a short sabbatical and the exams and the full-time workload, and it was just a lot to work with. So I just decided, you know what, like, no matter what, I need to find a way out. I cannot keep staying in this job because I absolutely hated it. So after work hours, I would be sending a ton of intro emails and networking emails and, messages on LinkedIn, and just trying to expand my connections outside of accounting to see what else I could do within the business realm. And I had the opportunity to switch into finance. And I just felt like it's almost like I'm so beaten down at the time, and someone offered a hand. Like, that's how I felt with the whole offer. It just felt like I see light at the end of the tunnel because I know I had a way out. That was just how bad it was at the time, and I thought any job would be better than the one I was staying at. So then I got into finance, and I worked sort of in a hybrid of strategic finance and regular FP&A, and I had to really just learn everything from the ground up because it's almost like my first job out of college, since my previous job in accounting wasn't really a whole lot applicable to finance, or at least the role that I took on. So there was a very steep learning curve, and I thought, you know what, now that I'm out of the worst time of my life, now things will only get better. At least that's what I kept telling myself. Fast forward to now, I am no longer in finance, and I am now in strategy and operations space. And I still cannot say that I like my job. I just feel like the corporate environment, the 9 to 5, the deadlines that you must meet because there is an E-team presentation tomorrow, or a C-suite member needs something, or your manager said so, is just not what I want to live by. I think inherently I'm a very creative person, and I always like to challenge my creative boundaries, but in a very numbers heavy, process heavy job that's very structured in the career path that you can grow, it's just really hard for me to sort of, spread my wings and just take the job wherever I want it to go. And so now I'm in the position where, in my everyday, even though, I'm not waking up on Monday dreading it, I do feel creative side of me keeps bubbling something up and saying, pursue something else. Maybe just quit. Maybe just let it all go and do something you truly like. But I think that's also the thing with passion is like, how do you know what you're passionate about if you haven't tried it, right? And so I think I'm in my trial and error phase where I'm really just trying all kinds of business opportunities and creative pursuits and trying to see where it takes me. But at the end of the day, I just know that my current job or any corporate job is not what I want to retire with. And I'm not sure if a lot of you feel the same way about your job. But I hope you find a little comfort in knowing that you're not alone. I think a very small percentage of population would love their job, and I think that's normal. It's really a lifelong journey to find what you love. But in my case, I will keep trying, and I'll keep at it, and see where that takes me. I think in a workplace, it's very cliche to say, it's about the people, that's the culture. Like, I love my job because of the culture. But I do think fundamentally your team is extremely important to how you might like your job or not. I had two really horrible managers in the past. Super micromanaging, super cutthroat, but at the same time, it's almost like they don't want you to succeed because they keep bringing you down in a way that's really hard to describe. It's that feeling of you're constantly giving, but it's never enough. And I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way about corporate, in which, the better job you do, the more work you're given. And that's totally true. I've really struggled with that. I think that just makes no sense, where you can do a good job, but totally not get compensated for it, or, your rewards letter is not reflective of the work that you've done. But that's really just the reality of corporate. Companies will always prioritize their budget, their margins over your career growth, your life, really. And so we shouldn't be giving our lives away to them when we are not expecting the same in return. And I also just think it's just not worth it. Some things are simply not worth it. And I've sort of hit a wall where I feel like my health, both physical and mental, have taken a toll because of the work that I constantly have to deliver. And it really just has taken such a toll on me that I even considered taking a break from work. But obviously, there's economic pressure with how the job market is currently. There's also pressure in terms of what are your ordinary expenses or living expenses that you have to pay off, right? And And so there's all these concerns as well. And, health insurance is one, for example. And so there's many reasons that go into why I can't just call it quits, because I simply cannot for monetary reasons. But I think I'm really, really struggling to find positivity in my workday and to just show appreciation that I have a job. I think it's really gotten to that point where that is hard for me to do. So, I don't know. I really don't know where life will take me in 3 months, 6 months, a year. But I'll just need to keep trying. So that's it for today. Thank you all for listening, and see you next time.